you doing? I'm Jared, and you're watching Tech News, a nuanced approach to recent tech and video game stories throughout the week. Instead of taking a knee-jerk reaction to everything, we're going to look at things calmly and discuss. Today, we're looking at the Game Awards. There's been some controversy around the nominees. Now, I'm not going to go through the list of the nominees. I'm going to put a graphic up over here or over here. It's going to be one of them. I don't know yet. Whichever one, look at it. See those games? Great. Those are the Game of the Year nominees. Now, you'll notice that one of those games is, it's not a game. It's what's called a DLC, or downloadable content. Now, DLC can mean a lot of things these days. You can buy horse armor for $5 in an Elden Ring or an Elder Scroll game from many years ago. That's DLC. You can also download, Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree, which is basically a game to itself, and is also considered DLC. Now, myself, I'm an old school PC gamer from the, all through the 90s into the 2000s. And in the late 90s, actually even the mid 90s, a really big game like StarCraft, Warcraft 3, those games, a lot of times they would get what were called expansion packs. Now, back in those days, the internet was slow. You had to use a telephone wire. And you couldn't really download a full game. It would just take forever. So you would go to the store and you would see StarCraft, and you would see StarCraft Brood War right next to it for maybe like $10 less. If you had StarCraft already, you would want to grab StarCraft Brood War, throw it in. You basically had 3 more campaigns to go through added onto the game. It was an awesome deal. It really helped satisfy the taste for a game while you waited on a sequel, which sometimes, like in the case of StarCraft, could be a decade. But anyways, it was a popular thing to see back in the 90s. The thing, though, with expansion packs, they weren't full games. You still needed the original game, or otherwise you couldn't even install the application. It would just kick back and say you don't have the game. With this Shadow of the Erdtree being included in Game of the Year category, there's been some controversy over what's a game. And I tend, personally, to lean towards the DLC or expansion packs are not a game. A game is something you could hop on your console store of choice, or on Steam or Epic Game Store, and you can download and play right there after paying for it. Or, if you're old school and want the physical version, drive up to Best Buy, pick up a copy, come home, install it. However you want to play it, the idea is you can get a game, you can put it in, install it, and there you go. You're off and running. You can't do that with Shadow of the Erdtree. First off, you need to have Elden Ring, which was also Game of the Year 2 years ago, in 2022. And even if you have Elden Ring, and you buy Shadow of the Erdtree, you can't play Shadow of the Erdtree until you make it past certain points in the original game. So the question then is, how can the Game of the Year be a game that you can't pick up and play? Now, some people don't care. They say it's a full experience, just like a game. It should count. If you think that, whatever. I don't agree with you. Sorry. I'm not going to call you stupid. I'm not a jerk. But I do not agree with that assessment. With Game of the Year, it really should be a complete game. And not an updated game. Not a Cyberpunk complete edition or whatever. Cyberpunk has already been in the running. It shouldn't be in the running again. And if this Shadow of the Erdtree were to win Game of the Year, you're effectively making Elden Ring Game of the Year a second time 2 years later. So where does it go? It's an amazing experience. Somehow, Jeff Keighley, with all these various categories he has, does not have an expansion or DLC of the year, which is nuts. There are some amazing DLC / expansion content out there. Again, with Cyberpunk, you had Phantom Liberty, I believe was the name. Not in front of me, my computer's way over there. So you're going to have to Google it if I'm wrong. Anyways, you had Phantom Liberty, you had a World of Warcraft, The War Within came out this year as well. And I believe the Final Fantasy XIV expansion came out this year as well. And these are complete game experiences. You just need to have the game to get into them. I do think that they need to make a category for DLC of the year. It just makes sense. And there's plenty of things. If there's a year where there's light on full-on expansions, throw a cosmetic in there or something. I'm sure there's something you can find. Anyways, that was just my quick take on the Game of the Year fiasco. For what it's worth, award shows are bullshit. Sorry. Not sorry. See you next time.